It's basically inevitable. The biggest Android phone launch of 2020 will be the Samsung Galaxy S20. That's the new, snappy, temporally relevant name we're expecting to see for what was originally going to be called the Galaxy S11. And there's a lot to get stuck into here, from the S20's likely early February launch to rumours of a faster screen and impressive new camera array. So let's dive right in. I'm Alex from Android Central, and this is everything we know so far about the Samsung Galaxy S20. First, let's deal with the cold hard facts. We know the Galaxy S20 or S11 will debut on February 11th at an event in San Francisco, thanks to details revealed in Samsung's official event invite. That gives Samsung a head start on the other devices that might be launching at Mobile World Congress in Barcelona a couple weeks later, and means there's a good chance the phones themselves will be shipping by the end of February. Like last year, we're looking at multiple models of S20, though with a slight realignment compared to what we saw with the S10 series. The base model, according to all the rumours, is set to be the Galaxy S20. Think of this as a mashup between the S10 and S10e last year. Then there'll be a slightly larger S20 Plus, which is likely to be the most popular model around the world, and finally an S20 Ultra will sport an even larger screen with 5G connectivity as standard. In terms of physical size, expect the vanilla S20 to measure in at 6.4 inches diagonally, with the Plus following at 6.7 inches, and the S20 Ultra purportedly pushing all the way up to 6.9 inches, making it physically the biggest Galaxy S flagship ever. Also worth noting is that as 5G networks become more common, the two smaller S20s are also slated to come in both 4G and 5G variants, whereas the Ultra supposedly will be 5G only. Next, the basic specs. It's no surprise to see the Galaxy S20 series likely launching with Qualcomm's Snapdragon 865 processor in the US and China, but reportedly many countries will also be getting a Snapdragon variant this year, whereas the Exynos version will be largely limited to Europe. And this apparently is because Samsung's own Exynos 990 chip is having trouble matching the speed of the Qualcomm equivalent, which I guess is good news for a lot of people, but bad news potentially for S20 buyers in Europe. Potentially you're getting a slower and less efficient phone, though we'll have to wait and see how things shake out. Anyway, other rumoured core specs aren't really too surprising: 12GB of RAM, 128, 256 or 512GB of storage. What's interesting though is the inclusion of between a 4500 and 5000 mAh battery, a huge upgrade from the batteries of last year's major Samsung phones. Big reason for these extra large cells is expected to be the phone's 120Hz displays. Evidence for the next-gen Samsung phones having super smooth screens emerged in the code of the One UI 2.0 update for the Galaxy Note 10, and since then it's also been confirmed by multiple sources. A faster refresh rate, of course, has the potential to chew through power much more quickly than a standard 60Hz screen of the kind that's included in most Android phones, but it also makes these phones smoother and appear more responsive than ever before. See, for instance, last year's OnePlus 7 Pro, which ran at 90Hz, and the past couple of years of Razer phones which use 120Hz LCDs. Looking at the leaked CAD renders of the S20 series that have emerged thus far, we can see a design that's kind of a mashup between the S10 and Note 10. There's a more rounded chassis as we'd expect from a Galaxy S phone, but also a smaller central hole-punch camera up front, which probably means any kind of 3D face unlock is out of the question, and that the S20 will continue to rely on in-screen fingerprint for secure unlock. Around the back is where you'll find arguably the most interesting features of the S20 series, and that is the camera array. The multi-lens setup is said to be based around a 108-megapixel main camera, with telephoto zoom provided through a new 5x telescope setup, similar to what we saw last year in the Huawei P30 Pro, though possibly with upgraded optics compared to that model. That's likely in addition to ultra-wide and some depth sensing capabilities that are also tucked away in that extra-large camera hump. Plus, if 4K video isn't enough for you, then get ready for 8K video rumoured to be arriving in the S20 as well. So on the one hand, the core of what makes these phones a Galaxy S hasn't really changed. The leaked images look broadly like successors to the Galaxy S9 and S10 series. Instead of any huge design changes, expect Samsung this year to zero in on the super smooth screen and extra large batteries as differentiators, while the camera, especially the 5x super zoom, will give Samsung an easily identifiable feature that Apple can't yet fit into the iPhone. These new phones will break cover on February 11th, likely with suitably astronomical price tags attached, considering all the new unique tech packed inside them. Stay tuned and subscribe to Android Central for more S20 news and hands-on coverage as the launch approaches. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.